Bueno, ¿se escucha?
Sí.
Hay que hacerlo del audio. Él es el que va a estar produciendo. Sí. Micrófono, o sea, este es el micrófono que y entro me está. ¿Sí se escucha? No, pues nomás es esperando. Ahí. Interpretación. Ahí está. Ah, no, Félix.
Bueno.
Sí.
¿Aló?
A ver, de Félix, tal cual.
Escucho entrecortado a alguien que habla, pero no sé si me escuchan a mí.
¿Está bien?
Hola. Bueno.
Cuando pasen a hablar. Ok. Va. Bueno, pues esto ya quedó.
¿Aló?
Félix, ¿me escuchas?
Sí, ¿me escuchan a mí? ¿Aló? ¿Me escuchan? No, no me escuchan. Bueno,
Ya lo
probando,
escucho.
probando.
Sí, ya lo escucho.
Félix, un favor, entraste con la liga que te mandamos de traductor, ¿verdad?
Sí, es correcto.
Ok, a ver, no, nada más a ver si tú nos puedes apoyar tantito porque estamos un poquito nuevos en el Zoom. Por decir ahorita ya ahí ya estamos en intérprete 1 y queremos poner tu área y no aparece. ¿Sabes? De casualidad te agregamos otra vez ahí con el correo en el de intérprete.
Le voy a mandar a Federico mi correo con el que estoy registrado en Zoom. Permíteme un segundo.
Sí, el de Yahoo.
No, es que no es ese. Estoy registrado en Zoom, estoy registrado con otro correo.
Entonces te mando, te agrego con ese correo.
Con este otro que le mandé ahorita a Federico.
Ok, en ese te lo voy a ver si para darte idea.
Ok.
Ya te debe llegar la otra invitación, estimado. Que ya nosotros empezamos,
Aguántame.
sí, porque nosotros empezamos ya aquí en 5 minutos el en vivo.
A ver. Ok, ya me llegó la invitación. Me voy a salir de esta sesión y voy a... ¿Sale?
Y por favor, ahorita ya te lo encargo y ahorita ya nos vemos otra vez. Gracias.
Ay, bueno. Aquí.
Aquí, mira.
Ricardo, decano de la facultad.
Ahí lo vas a poner Consejo Iberoamericano.
Hoy, pero no me va a dejar hacer cambios. Déjame, me comparto internet. Ay. Em,
Ok, Félix, ahí ya estás habilitado como intérprete.
está. Ok.
Consejo Iberoamericano de Decanos y Decanas de Ciencias Económicas. María Garza, que nos acompaña en la presentación, José Luis Garza Garza, ahí está, ella.
Va.
Él se va a dar mensaje en representación de.
El
Sí.
SIDAM. Ah, ok, entonces lo tengo que poner acá también.
Ajá.
Mario Garza.
Ponle. Eduardo, ahí. Ya que dice decir la palabra que les tiene aquí Mario, ese mensaje preparado. Ajá.
Va.
Ahí está.
Ok, sí, tenía una duda, pero me dijo Ricardo esto, no sé qué opinas. Cuando yo le doy la palabra al doctor Eduardo Ábalos para que haga entrega del Finance Diamond Award y de su discurso, ¿yo doy una introducción de qué es el award o no? Sí, ok.
Y para que lo des en lo que vamos preparando y ya él le da el reconocimiento, pero tú ya diste como que el de ingreso. Va, ¿vale? Si no, así está perfecto.
Okay. Muchas gracias. Pati Villanueva. Mucho gusto.
Les voy a decir algo muy bonito a las dos, ahorita que estoy más tranquilo. Han sido días pesadísimos. Ley to ley te camina acá. Es mi corazón, mi palabra, mi mente, que es maravilloso.
Gracias.
Es una expresión árabe marroquí. Yo viví en Marruecos hace muchos años y aprendí algunas palabras. Ley to ley te camina acá. Y tiene toda una profundidad impresionante. Si yo llego y los saludo así, significa algo. Si yo llego y los saludo así, significa otra cosa. Si yo llego y los saludo así, es el máximo reconocimiento hacia una dama que me merece mucho respeto. Nada más puede ser mi mamá, una científica, son las dos únicas. Yo, hombre, le daría ese respeto. Entonces, yo así sacando alguna platícame de qué te trata.
Siempre aprendemos cosas bien.
Y cuando también si la chica es casado, viudo, divorciada, también hay una forma de enseñar. Yo dije, entonces yo que fuera así así. Porque para generalizar no sabes qué hacer. Y te molesta. Y no puedes aceptar que una joven menor que yo me vea a los ojos. Que no tiene el nivel. Yo los veía a todos igual, no la puedo ver. No, es que, o sea, no sé cómo explicarme.
¿Cómo cambiar las culturas?
No sé,
Alcances de cada una de ellas.
si tú dices, oye, mi novio es de África, de argelio, de árabe, hago así porque país la cultura. Llegando a su país se transforma. Se transforma. Entonces,
Wow.
pero bueno. Ahorita que estoy más tranquilo, porque han sido días.
¿Cómo decirte que de regreso? Pero de nuestra parte, para ti también.
¿Me pueden invitar un cóctel Monterrey? Ya sabes cuál es, ¿no?
Sí.
Un vaso de agua sin hielo.
No le gusta el negro.
Sí. Ya estás lista, muñequita.
Ya estoy
Vamos a ver qué
lista.
tal.
Para las conferencias simultáneas yo no voy a tener que introducir nada, ¿verdad? O sea, solo doy la introducción de que los invitamos a pasar a las conferencias simultáneas, pero ya.
Sí, ya.
Ok.
Sí, porque ahí ya como se van a hacer en otros espacios, pues ya no tendrías tú que intervenir.
Y luego la segunda conferencia magistral va a ser aquí.
Sí.
Es así. Ok.
Y ya sí vamos a estar regresando.
Ok. Ay, pues creo que ya estoy lista. ¿A quién empezamos?
Si te sientes cómodo.
Todos ellos son alumnos de FACPIAO.
Sí. Y aparte de otras instituciones.
Hola. Lalo, mucho gusto. Mucho gusto, ya nos conocemos. No, hombre, para mí, o sea, yo encantada. Ok, igual cualquier cosa que pueda ayudar, aquí ando. Gracias. El 12º Congreso Internacional de Investigación Financiera Fimef. Distinguidos miembros del presidium, estimados investigadores, estudiantes, invitados especiales y a todos aquellos que nos acompañan el día de hoy. En nombre del Instituto Mexicano Ejecutivo de Finanzas, se les da la más cordial bienvenida al Congreso Internacional de Investigación Financiera. El Instituto Mexicano Ejecutivo de Finanzas, AC, es una asociación civil sin fines de lucro que convoca y agrupa a destacados miembros del sector financiero. Agradecemos la paciencia. Muy buenos días tengan todas y todos ustedes. La Facultad de Contaduría Pública y Administración de la Universidad Autónoma de Nuevo León agradece su gentil presencia en esta ceremonia de inauguración del 12º Congreso Internacional de Investigación Financiera, Fundación IMEF. Distinguidos miembros del Presidium, estimados investigadores, estudiantes, invitados especiales y a todos aquellos que nos acompañan el día de hoy, en nombre del Instituto Mexicano de Ejecutivos de Finanzas, se les da la más cordial bienvenida al Congreso Internacional de Investigación Financiera. El Instituto Mexicano de Ejecutivos de Finanzas, AC, es una asociación civil sin fines de lucro que convoca y agrupa a destacados miembros del sector financiero mexicano y tiene presencia en más de 19 ciudades del país. Para dar inicio a esta ceremonia, presentaremos con todo respeto el himno nacional. A continuación, en posición de firmes, entonaremos nuestro glorioso himno nacional mexicano. ¿Se escucha bien? ¿Se escucha bien? Tomamos asiento. A continuación, tengo el honor de presentarles a las autoridades que nos acompañan el día de hoy. Maestro Alejandro Hernández Bringas, presidente nacional del Instituto Mexicano de Ejecutivos de Finanzas. Doctor Eduardo Ábalos Lira, presidente de la Fundación de Investigación IMEF. Doctor Luis Villarreal Villarreal, director de la Facultad de Contaduría Pública y Administración. Jesús Mario Garza, quien nos acompaña en representación del ingeniero José Luis Garza Garza. Doctor Ricardo José María Palen Acuña, decano de la Facultad de Ciencias Económicas, Universidad de Buenos Aires. Ahora, escucharemos un mensaje que nos tiene preparado el maestro Alejandro Hernández Bringas.
Muy buenos días, tengan todos ustedes. Es para mí un verdadero honor estar en este recinto de la Facultad de Contaduría Pública y Administración de la Universidad Autónoma de Nuevo León. Y es una gran satisfacción ver a todos ustedes en un compromiso común que tenemos, compartir el conocimiento. El conocimiento que adquirimos a través de la investigación, una acción que el Instituto Mexicano de Ejecutivos de Finanzas ha promovido desde prácticamente su fundación hace más de 60 años y que reforzó y formalizó a partir del año 2011 gracias al interés de un grupo de mujeres y hombres que han dado forma y continuidad al Congreso Internacional de Investigación Financiera. Hoy, 11 años después y muchos buenos resultados, estamos reunidos aquí con el propósito de difundir los avances de la investigación financiera y contribuir a la vinculación academia, empresa y gobierno en temas relevantes de investigación que apoyan el desarrollo económico y social de los países, de las empresas e instituciones, así como para promover el trabajo e intercambio de experiencias entre investigadores a nivel global. Este congreso, auspiciado por la Fundación IMEF, es el espacio idóneo para presentar hallazgos y tendencias financieras, generar el diálogo de retroalimentación, así como apoyar a los investigadores, actualizar a los profesionistas financieros e impulsar a los estudiantes, porque el conocimiento es valioso para comprender la realidad a través del entendimiento, la razón y la inteligencia, sobre todo en un mundo tan cambiante como lo es el actual, donde el conocimiento es la base para el desarrollo y la evolución de la sociedad. En el Instituto Mexicano de Ejecutivos de Finanzas, el IMEF, siempre hemos estado interesados en contribuir a resolver los problemas del país a través de propuestas de diferente índole, donde no puede faltar la investigación en el campo económico financiero por medio de temas de relevancia como las finanzas corporativas, mercados financieros y bursátiles, administración de riesgos, mercado de derivados, seguros y fianzas, fianzas internacionales, fianzas sociales, banca y crédito, entre otros temas, que este día 7 y 8 de septiembre actualizaremos en las conferencias magistrales, paneles y mesas de trabajo que se llevarán a cabo con la finalidad de seguir sumando conocimiento. He abusado de la palabra conocimiento en este mensaje, confiando en que ustedes me lo permitan, porque es una acción y un compromiso de todos los que estamos aquí presentes, asistentes, panelistas, investigadores e invitados especiales, a quien les doy a todos la más cordial bienvenida. Muchas gracias y disfrutemos de este congreso.
Agradecemos su mensaje. A continuación, cedemos la palabra al doctor Eduardo Ábalos Lira.
Distinguidos miembros del Presidium, estimados y estimadas docentes, estudiantes, colegas y público en general. Con mucho agrado les damos la bienvenida a la 12ª edición del Congreso Internacional de Investigación Financiera Fimef 2022, organizado por la Fundación de Investigación del Instituto Mexicano de Ejecutivos de Finanzas y la Facultad de Contaduría Pública y Administración de esta gran universidad, la Universidad Autónoma de Nuevo León. La Fundación de Investigación nace con el objetivo de aportar conocimiento e innovación en el sector financiero y de negocios. Uno de los pilares que el mismo IMEF ha impulsado, nuestro presidente nacional, el maestro Alejandro Hernández Brincas, es precisamente esto, el acercamiento con ustedes, las universidades. Este congreso busca contribuir a la vinculación universidad, empresa y gobierno en temas relevantes de investigación que apoyen el desarrollo económico y social de los países, sus empresas e instituciones. Es la plataforma en la que investigadoras e investigadores nacionales e internacionales del área económico-financiera difunden los avances de sus trabajos, que esperamos puedan ser aplicables en el futuro cercano para la gestión de las empresas e incluso para la definición de políticas públicas. Nos honramos anualmente en presentar este magno evento, en esta ocasión con el apoyo de una gran institución, la Universidad Autónoma de Nuevo León, la cual se caracteriza por enfrentar los retos con aplomo y gallardía. La organización de este congreso es una prueba más de ello. Quiero agradecer de manera personal al doctor Luis Alberto Villarreal y a todo su equipo por la disposición para poder realizar este evento. Consideramos que en este año refrendaron su compromiso con la calidad educativa al reacreditarse internacionalmente con la Agencia Internacional de Calidad Educativa AICE. Participaron en el piloto de la acreditación 2030, la primera acreditación a nivel mundial que busca alinear los esfuerzos de las instituciones educativas hacia los 17 Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible. Aceptaron ser sede del Congreso Internacional de Investigación Financiera Fimef y del Congreso Nacional Lidera 2022 del Grupo Universitario del IMEF, que el día de hoy nos acompaña también nuestra presidenta Andrea Rosales. Muchas gracias por tu asistencia, Andrea. Que se llevará a cabo durante la tercera semana de octubre y prometemos ya dejarlos en paz a esta facultad y a esta universidad, por lo menos de aquí a este año, doctor. El próximo año ya tenemos otros eventos con ustedes seguramente. Este evento ha sido todo un reto. Después de estar más de 2 años sin actividades presenciales, y en la fundación consideramos que era necesario retomar las actividades presenciales. Y en esta ocasión, por primera vez, estamos realizando un congreso híbrido. A lo largo de estos 2 días seremos partícipes de múltiples actividades que estamos seguros serán de gran relevancia para todos y todas ustedes. Les invitamos a disfrutar de las 5 conferencias magistrales, todas dictadas por personalidades internacionales, como la del ganador del Fan Examen Award, el doctor Ilan Ostrup, que iniciará en unos minutos. También la ponencia de nuestro invitado especial de Argentina, el doctor Ricardo Palen Acuña, quien también es presidente del Consejo Iberoamericano de Decanos y Decanas de Ciencias Económico-Administrativas en lo que es España y Latinoamérica. Además, tendremos 15 mesas simultáneas con 51 ponencias de temas relevantes para la investigación financiera y económica, 5 sesiones especiales y nuestro panel de editores de nuestra revista mexicana de Economía y Finanzas, que uno de los pilares fundamentales ha sido el doctor Gerardo Dubkowski, que hace también el honor de acompañarnos el día de hoy. Esta revista es una de las revistas especializadas de mayor relevancia a nivel mundial, contando con presencia en más de 100 países y decenas de miles de consultas año con año. Estamos seguros que en este evento nos servirá para mandar lazos entre las distintas instituciones que nos acompañan, desde Colombia con nuestro estimado amigo el doctor José Curbelo. Este congreso es un espacio de colaboración y creatividad que esperamos que ya sea a través de la REMEF o de la Red Internacional de Investigadores de la Fimef, de la cual un pilar fundamental ha sido nuestra compañera, la doctora María Luisa Saavedra, que también el día de hoy nos acompaña. Uno de los esfuerzos que estamos realizando por contribuir a la formación de futuras y futuros investigadores. Esperamos que se puedan dar una vuelta por el pasillo donde estarán presentando sus trabajos los jóvenes. Definitivamente el poder de retroalimentación se da de gran beneficio para estos futuros profesionistas que siempre se han distinguido por ser líderes proactivos. Les agradezco nuevamente por estar aquí con nosotros, a nuestros anfitriones y por su hospitalidad, al equipo de la Fundación IMEF, al Grupo IMEF Universitario y a todas las personas que han contribuido para la realización de este evento. Muchas gracias.
Agradecemos sus palabras. Para continuar, cedemos la palabra al doctor Luis Villarreal Villarreal.
Muchas gracias. Muy buenos días, tengan todas y todos ustedes. Sean bienvenidos a este 12º Congreso Internacional de Investigación Financiera. Hago una disculpa a nombre de nuestro señor rector, el doctor Santos Guzmán López. No pudo asistir el día de hoy aquí, pero aquí estamos en su representación y muy contentos de que nos acompañen el día de hoy todas y todos ustedes. Quiero saludar también con aprecio al maestro Alejandro Hernández Bringas, presidente nacional del Instituto Mexicano de Ejecutivos de Finanzas. Muchas gracias, Alejandro, por hacer el viaje a la ciudad de Monterrey y tenerte aquí en esta tu casa. De igual manera, a nuestro amigo, el doctor Eduardo Ábalos Lira, presidente de la Agencia Internacional de Calidad Educativa, de AICE, de CASECA, y también, por supuesto, presidente de la Fundación del Instituto de Ejecutivo de Finanzas. Gracias, Eduardo, por las consideraciones, por haber elegido a nuestra querida FACPIA para ser sede de este 10º Congreso Internacional. Y de igual manera, quiero saludar también a nuestro querido amigo Jesús Mario Garza, que viene en representación de la Secretaría de Economía del Estado de Nuevo León, y por supuesto también a nuestro conferencista invitado el día de hoy para inaugurar este congreso, al doctor Francisco Venegas Martínez. Muchas gracias. Y a las autoridades también que nos acompañan de otros países, de otros estados de la República, académicos, estudiantes, administrativos y toda la comunidad universitaria que el día de hoy hace acto de presencia. Indudablemente que para nosotros, FACPIA, pues este evento representa una parte sustancial en estos festejos que hemos ya iniciado con motivo de nuestro 70 aniversario, que como todos ustedes saben, hemos estado realizando distintas actividades en el marco de esta conmemoración que tendremos a bien realizar el próximo mes de octubre. Y este Congreso Internacional pues forma parte precisamente de estos acontecimientos que hemos estado preparando y realizando para toda la comunidad de FACPIA. Así que en esta ocasión el Congreso, como ya bien dijo el doctor Ábalos, pues tiene grandes expectativas en materia de investigación financiera, en materia de intercambio de experiencias, tanto en la economía, en la administración y por supuesto a las finanzas, que es una de las principales vertientes y ejes rectores de la academia de nuestras 5 carreras que hoy en día ofertamos en la facultad, con ya más de 22,000 alumnos que hacen presencia día con día para prepararse y aspirar a una mejor calidad de vida. Así que bueno, pues aprovechen toda la comunidad que nos sigue a través de redes sociales, estará también de manera virtual este congreso, de manera híbrida, y los que están aquí acompañándonos de manera presencial sean bienvenidos a esta ciudad de Monterrey, Nuevo León, a esta su casa, la Facultad de Contaduría Pública y Administración, donde estoy seguro que las expectativas serán cumplidas. Muchas gracias, sean todas y todos bienvenidos y disfruten de estos 2 días de intensa actividad financiera. Y bueno, para seguir con este acto protocolario, siendo las 10 de la mañana con 36 minutos, damos formalmente por inaugurado este 12º Congreso Internacional. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, doctor Luis Villarreal. Ahora, Jesús Mario Garza nos tiene un mensaje preparado. Le cedemos la palabra.
Muchas gracias. Es para mí un honor participar en eventos como este, que es el 12º Congreso Internacional de Investigación Financiera, de gran valía para Nuevo León. El gobierno del estado, específicamente la Secretaría de Economía, reconoce los esfuerzos que instituciones como la Fundación para el Instituto Mexicano de Ejecutivos de Finanzas, el IMEF, la Universidad Autónoma de Nuevo León, así como las 13 instituciones de educación superior que participan y realizan para que conferencistas de talla internacional, de gran prestigio y influencia en lo que respecta a la investigación financiera, ofrecen no solo a los estudiantes, sino al público en general su conocimiento y experiencia. La Facultad de Contaduría Pública y Administración, dignamente dirigida por el doctor Luis Alberto Villarreal, sede y organizadora de este magnífico congreso, será el recinto donde se analizarán temas como la gestión financiera, la economía financiera, con aspectos tanto macroeconómicos como microeconómicos, interconectados con las finanzas, premisas que encauzarán al desarrollo de los participantes en la aplicación de estrategias expuestas en la vida laboral, lo cual generará éxito en sus responsabilidades, tanto en sus empresas o negocios. Como empresario, hemos valorado la profesionalización y el talento en el contexto financiero, porque permiten que los empresarios tomemos las mejores decisiones. Y de esa manera las empresas se consoliden y asciendan a niveles superiores. Ahora, como funcionario público, lo veo en el contexto macroeconómico, con mayor responsabilidad, porque nuestras decisiones impactan a todas las empresas y empleos en Nuevo León. Es por eso que me gustaría comentar brevemente algunos de los objetivos que nos trazamos en la Subsecretaría de Fomento Empresarial, que están establecidos en el Plan Estatal de Desarrollo 2022-2027, como es el de mejorar y fortalecer de manera sostenible la competitividad de las micro, pequeñas y medianas empresas, pieza clave del crecimiento de la economía en Nuevo León. Empiezo por el programa de asesoría y capacitación a pymes, con un modelo exitoso en Estados Unidos, que es el Small Business Development Center, por sus siglas en inglés SBDC. Incluso esta facultad coadyuva con el Centro de Desarrollo Empresarial, pero no solamente eso, sino que es un ejemplo de la triple hélice, en donde 4 universidades de más prestigio en el estado, junto con el gobierno y las empresas, transmiten o consolidan todos estos, vamos a decir, este programa, porque reciben 20 horas de asesoría personalizada con asesores que, además de ser expertos, cuentan con más de 10 años de experiencia, garantizando el incremento sustancial en sus ventas, consolidando incluso e incrementando el empleo. Así también, el Centro de Atención Empresarial, el CAE, otorgan servicios de apoyo igual a las micro y pequeñas empresas. También apoyamos de manera especial a las mujeres emprendedoras, porque contamos, entre otros, con el programa de 8 acciones para mujeres empresarias en Nuevo León. Y tenemos en el sector energético minero una atención muy especial. Y finalmente, pero no menos importante, trabajamos con temas de innovación gubernamental, porque son herramientas para las que las empresas pueden generar riqueza y un desarrollo económico sostenible por medio de la innovación, impulsando a los sectores estratégicos para que mejore el ingreso y calidad de vida de los neoloneses. Solo me resta externarles un sincero agradecimiento por acercar a nuestros jóvenes y empresarios esta gran oportunidad de conocer nuevas estrategias financieras a través de ponentes reconocidos internacionalmente, y desearles el mayor de los éxitos en el Congreso para ubicar a Nuevo León en un lugar privilegiado. Muchas gracias.
Agradecemos su mensaje. A continuación, el doctor Eduardo Ábalos hará la entrega del Finance Diamond Award, el cual es una distinción que se otorga anualmente a un destacado investigador que contribuye significativamente al desarrollo financiero del mundo. Doctor Eduardo, le cedo la palabra.
Este reconocimiento se entrega cada año al investigador más destacado más reconocido por sus aportaciones en el mundo de la economía. En este caso, es nuestro invitado especial el día de hoy, es el doctor Ilan Öztürk. Él es de Turquía y tendremos la oportunidad de escuchar su magna conferencia sobre energía sostenible y su impacto en la economía mundial de este momento. El Diamond Award es este reconocimiento que se entrega cada año. Se lo haremos llegar en su oportunidad. Él no le fue posible llegar a tiempo para estar en nuestra conferencia. La tendremos a distancia. Y el reconocimiento dice 12º Fimef International Financial Research Conference, el sexto entrega que se lleva a cabo al doctor Ilan Öztürk, doctor, septiembre de 2022, que es como se estaba programado este evento. Hacemos llegar su reconocimiento al doctor Ilan Öztürk. Muchas gracias, doctor.
Muchas gracias, doctor. Damos por terminada esta ceremonia inaugural, no sin antes agradecer la presencia de todos ustedes. Los invitamos a quedarse en sus lugares para la primera conferencia magistral. Empezaremos en breve.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me? Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, we can hear you.
Ok, ¿cómo está, doctor Francisco? Mucho gusto. Federico Figueroa, a tus órdenes.
Thank you very much, Federico. Good morning.
Usted va a presentar, ¿verdad, al doctor Öztürk?
Of course, of course.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, the thing is, we're going to put you in camera first, and then Dr. Öztürk, you're the next on camera. Our translator is Felix.
Okay, so good morning. First of all, Professor Öztürk, thank you very much for being here.
Si me puede esperar, ahorita les decimos el cue, ahorita les damos el cue.
Okay.
Muchas gracias.
Okay.
Félix, ¿estás listo también? Ahorita vamos a empezar el cue cuando empiece el doctor. Ok, ahorita ya les damos pie y les avisamos. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. I would like to welcome all of you to this wonderful International Financial Research Conference.
Mr. Öztürk,
Los invito.
wait a little, please.
Okay.
Antes de comenzar, los invitamos a mencionar al Congreso en sus redes sociales con el hashtag Congreso Fimef, F-I-M-E-F. Bueno, vamos a comenzar con la conferencia magistral que lleva por nombre How to Publish in Impact Factor Journals and Recent Developments in Energy, por el doctor Ilan Öztürk, profesor de Economía en la Universidad de Nizantasi, Estambul, Turquía, y la Universidad de Sharjah, Ciudad de Emiratos Árabes Unidos. Sus intereses de investigación se centran en las áreas de la energía, economía ambiental y en economía internacional. El número total de sus artículos publicados es de más de 250. De estos artículos, 230 están listados por Easy Web of Science Social Sciences Citation Index y Science Citation Index. Su investigación, con un enfoque internacional, ha sido publicada en un número de revistas internacionales líderes. Las investigaciones del Dr. Öztürk han sido citadas más de 31,000 veces en revistas internacionales revisadas por colegas con H-Index 81. El Dr. Öztürk ha sido ganador de varios premios de investigación y enseñanza, es revisor de varias revistas internacionales líderes y forma parte de los consejos editoriales de varias revistas internacionales de referencia. Además, es editor y editor asociado de varias revistas internacionales. El profesor Öztürk también es el investigador más citado en 2018, 2019, 2020 y 2021. Antes de comenzar, presentaré al moderador, Dr. Francisco Venegas Martínez. Cuenta con postdoctorado en finanzas en Oxford University, doctorado en matemáticas en Washington State University, un segundo doctorado en economía en Washington State University, maestría en economía en el Instituto Tecnológico Autónomo de México, maestría en matemáticas, maestría en investigación de operaciones y licenciatura en matemáticas en la Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México. Profesor investigador, titular C de tiempo completo definitivo de la Escuela Superior de Economía del Instituto Politécnico Nacional. Miembro del Sistema Nacional de Investigadores nivel 3. Le cedo la palabra, doctor Francisco Venegas.
¿Podría prender el micrófono, doctor, por favor?
Okay. Okay, I had a problem with my microphone. So good morning to everyone. First of all, Professor Öztürk, I am very, very happy that you are here, and I'm very glad that you have given this very important award in Mexico. I just want to mention that you are the most cited author. I'm not saying you are one of the most, you are the most cited author in energy economics all over the world in the last years. So it's impressive, really, your career, and I just want to say that congratulations and God bless you. And let's start with your important presentation, Professor Öztürk. Thank you very much again.
Muchas gracias. Good morning to everyone. I would like to welcome all of you to this wonderful and international financial research conference. And I would like to thank to the president and all members of Mexico Executive Finance Institute for giving me this very prestigious and important award. I am really honored and thankful for receiving such an award from very far away from my country. And again, muchas gracias, muchas gracias. I'm really very happy to be with you. And I was planning to come and visit Mexico but due to some unexpected problems, I couldn't able to come. But hopefully in the future or in the very near future, I will come and visit you. Thank you very much. And shall I start to my speech or wait now?
I think so, please. And also, I just want to mention that you are the main editor of the International Journal of Energy Economics and Policy, one of the most important journals in the world. And please begin your conference, Professor Ozturk.
Okay, thank you very much. My speech will be about how to publish in the impact factor journals, and I will try to give you some recent development in energy economics. Since I am editor-in-chief, associate editor, author, and reviewer in many energy and economics journals, I have a good experience of how to publish in the top journals. And so today, I plan to give you some hints, some clues, some information, knowledge, and share my experience for all the new academics and current academics in order to publish in these journals. As you mentioned, I am highly cited researcher also for the last 4 years. And I have a good ranking in also in the Google Scholar, and I am proud, honored, and I'm really glad to be with you today. And so, in the first part of my speech, I will give you like a manual, a guideline about how to publish in these journals, and then I will give a few like a brief information also about recent development in the energy economics. In my 25 years of research as an author, editor, and reviewer, I observed several shortcomings and the submission process that often led to research being of having your paper published and also improve your research profile and career progression. In this competitive environment, in order to get a good job, high salary, and being recognized in the national and in the global world, you must have papers in the impact factor journals and also have a good number of the citation. That is why you must follow the literature, the new trends, the topics, methodology, etc., in order to stay this competitive world. As a new or as a current academic and faculties, I have some topics suggestion for you for the future research. This topic has a high potential of publishing in the good and in the top journals. One of them is related with the waste management. For example, due to the effects of COVID-19, the waste management related articles receive a great attention. So it's very important to have a work like on waste management about why it is important, because almost all country has a plan for the 2030 by the 2050 to have a net zero or zero carbon emissions. So the carbon footprint is very important. Carbon management, environmental degradation on energy growth nexus, climate change related subjects, all the topics related to climate change, about global warming, the role of green finance in energy growth and nexus. So for the finance related, green finance has a huge potential of public need more renewable energies, but in the renewable energy, you need the finance. So green finance is really very important. The second one is about the smart cities as a drivers of green economy, happiness economics, green financing, industry for digitalization, clean energy technologies, social environment cost of globalization, energy growth nexus, financing the green economy, financing the renewable energy, green management, green marketing. So everything related with the green has a very high potential. The impact of geopolitical risk and uncertainty in energy demand, that one has become more important due to the invasion of the Russia Ukraine. So geopolitical risk is really very important. Decarbonization and carbon neutrality in the energy economics or before start to how to publish in indexed journals, you have to know and you have to be familiar about which journals we are talking about. The journals that you should target to publish your paper should be and must be indexed in the following the databases. The first and the most important one is the ICA, which we call also Web of Science or it has the three types of the index: Asset Citation Index. The second one is the SCI, which is Science Citation Index, and the last one is the AHC or AHG, Art Humanities, the Citation Index journal. So these are the top journals and with the impact factor journals. There is a new Web of Science indexing which called emerging sources. This one is new, and also it will have a target to publish in this journal. Another important index journal database is the Scopus, and it has also has an impact factor and the science score. So you must target any journals that is indexed and the most important here the quality of your paper and the journal you publish, the quantity of your paper and the quantity of the journal. So the most important criteria that you look for is the quality of your paper and the quality of the journal you publish. So the most qualified journals are the journals that has been indexed in the Web of Science and the Scopus. As an academics and as an faculty members, in order to be recognized and have a better impact, you should register also to the following website in order to be updated about the new development in your area. So as in finance or economics academics, you should have an account in IDS and REPEC. You should open an ORCID account. You should have an Publons account. And one of the most important, you must have a Google Scholar account in order to see your papers the citations of your paper you received and the people who cited your paper. So you should have a Gmail account and then open the Google Scholar. Then it becomes very easy for you and for your colleagues to see your papers and to see the new published papers and to see how many citations you are receiving and who is citing your paper. So you must count in this website. Yes, here why papers are rejected directly by the editor without review. Being as an editor-in-chief and editor, sometimes and most of the time, we give a desk reject to the paper when we receive it. What does it mean, the desk reject? We reject it due to some factors, and we don't send your paper to the reviewer to review your paper. The first one is because your paper is not in the scope of the journal. For example, your topic is related with the exchange rate or with the finance, but you are submitting your paper to energy policy or energy economics. So it has no any relation with the energy or with the environment or with the pollution. So it means your paper is not in the scope of the journal. So this is one of the factor here. The second one is because of high similarity rate, because of the plagiarism. In many cases, unfortunately, the papers we receive has a high similarity rate. It means that it has been copied and pasted from other already published journal, and it means that your paper is not original, so it is rejected. The third one is your paper has no contribution in the international level. It has a limited information. Maybe you are using the old methodology. It is on the national level, or maybe it is old data. So it means your paper has no novelty. It has no novel. There is nothing new in your paper. So your paper is directly rejected by the editor-in-chief. The last one is about the poor language quality. Many paper has been rejected just because of the poor language quality. So in the next few minutes, I am going to, in order to not get at the beginning. Therefore, I will give you a path to follow, a guideline or a manual in order to not get any reject. The first one is about the selection of a journal, which is very important. Select a topic, follow the journal guideline, organize a good structure of your paper, apply a recent methodology, edit your paper, plagiarism check, and then submit your paper. I will explain them in detail one by one. Select a journal group. If you are working in an area in energy and environmental economics, you should follow a few energy-related journal and be updated and follow new issues when it has been published here. For example, I am following energy economics, energy policy, applied energy, energy, ecological economics in order to be updated and aware of the recent the topics has been published. Here you should subscribe to this journal to receive email when the new issue published, and regularly check the new issues of journals you selected. this is really very important to follow the literature. You have to be aware of, and you must have information about when you select a journal, we have another. One of them is the frequency, the number of issues it is published per year. Some journals is published like biannually, some of them quarterly. A journal. So why it is important to submit your paper in a journal that published several issues per year? It means you will have a more chance for publication of your paper. So my advice to you is to select a journal that publish like monthly or maybe bi-monthly. The second important criteria here is about the review of the process, which is the duration of the review process. We have some journals that really takes a long time in the review process. You submit your paper and you get the review results after 1 year or maybe 1.5 years or maybe 2 years. And if your paper is rejected, you will see that your data is become old and you have to start from the beginning. So my advice to you is to check the review process of the journal and see how long a process, like it may be 1 month or submit your paper. The other criteria the impact factor of the journal is really important. As the impact factor of the journal increases, it means the quality is also increases. And as the quality increases, it means it becomes more difficult to publish your paper in the impact factor journal. So as a new, for example, academics is to start from the low impact factor and go by step here. And the other important criteria is about the scope of the journals, as I mentioned before. So and before submitting your paper, aim of the journal to see which topic is accepted for publication in this journal. Another way to look at whether your paper is in the scope of the journal or not is to look at the references that you cited in your paper. If you find few references from the journal that you are intend to submit your scope of the journal. For example, and if you have some references that you cited in the references from the energy policy, it means of the journal. These are really very important criteria. And so many papers are rejected by editors in the first stage because you didn't cite any papers from the journals. It means most probably your paper is not in the scope of the journal. So this one really is very important. The topic selection is one of the other important criteria. Select an important hot topic in the international area. It is the important criteria for the reviewers. In order to find a good topic, you should follow the published paper and the literature. Another criteria is the follow the journal author guideline. Always follow the correct submission procedures here. Follow the journal guideline. According to the journal, you will submit your paper. If you do not follow it, you may lose 1 or 2 months most of the publisher and different format structure. So you should organize and arrange your paper according to the author guideline. You have to design your paper according to the journal format. Mostly used format is as follow. It contains 5 about the introduction. The second is the literature review, and the theory, literature review, and the theoretical perspective. So in the second, it must have a literature review. The third one is the methodology and data, or materials and data. The fourth section is the empirical results and or maybe discussion, because in some journals they are asking you to have a section and an individual section as a discussion. If not required, then in empirical results you must have a section or a few paragraph about the discussion, and the last is the conclusion and policy implication. So more than 80 or 90% of journals, they follow this paper format, or yes. Let's start one by one. The title is the main advertisement of your paper, so the title is really very important. A poorly titled article may never reach it is the target. So title is really very important. And content of your paper. So, as an editor, when we receive some paper, we see that there is no any connection between the title and the content of the paper. So it must be related with the content of the paper. The other is the abstract. You have to describe your research in between 1 and 200 words. So the number of words for the abstract, it changed from the journal to a journal. Minimum is 100 for most of the journals, and maximum is 200 journal words. So before submitting your paper, you must look at the author guideline and see about the minimum and maximum words of the abstract. And sometimes many paper is rejected just because of the poor abstract, why it doesn't contain. So in the abstract, you must summarize the problem or objective of your research, the method you use, the data you use, result, explain and present it with one. So title and abstract is really the most important factors here. When you look at the introduction, before writing the introduction, you should read and learn related literature and mention the importance and contribution of your paper in the introduction. As an editor and also as a reviewer, we are looking this information in the introduction section, and accordingly we decide how this paper contributes to the literature. So the contribution of your paper to the literature and motivation of your paper and why your paper is important and it should be published. This information must be available in the introduction. So as an editor and as a reviewer, the most important factor we look at is the motivation, contribution, and importance of your paper, which must be available in the introduction. The second section is the literature review. Cite articles from the journal to which you are going to submit it. So if you are going to submit your paper to International Journal of Finance, you must cite few paper from International Journal of Finance. Otherwise, it will be understood that your paper is not in the scope of the journal, or you are not following the literature. So this is really very important. Not only will this help you further establish your credibility and display an understanding of the field, it is also a strategic way to take the advantage of the reviewer ego. So when you submit your paper to International Journal of Finance and you cited few paper from the journal, and most probably your paper will be sent to the reviewer. Why? It is a similar with your paper, and you follow the literature. So it is a very cite the papers from the journals that you go to the original source. This is really very important, and you should reference articles that are widely cited. References should be up to date, and at the end of the literature review, you must have one or two paragraphs that summarize the result you obtain from the literature review at the end of this section. And you have to mention that you analyze the current literature, and your paper will have a contribution and will fill a gap that it has not been investigated before, and it will have a contribution. So this information or the summarization at the end of the literature review is really very important. And references should be up to date. We receive many papers. We see that the latest 2019 or maybe 2000 did not follow the literature, and he or she did not cite any new paper that has been published in 2021 and 2022. So the literature must be up to date. It must contain the newly published paper also in the references. This is really, really important. The other section, which is the third, is the methodology and the data, or materials and empirical studies. You can give any name to it. So it's about the methodology you applied and the data has been used. If your methods are new, you will need to explain them in the detail. If they have been published before in many papers, you should cite the original work, including your amendments if you made any modification. You should mention that I am going to use this methodology, which has been also employed and colors, and in parentheses you will cite a few. Specify the data and the material you use and specifying their sources, state the frequency of the observation and what types of the data it has been recorded. So we have to mention whether you use the annual data, quarterly, monthly, weekly, or the daily data, and you must mention the source of the data use, whether you have obtained data from the primary sources or from the secondary sources like World Bank or IMF or International Financial Statistics. So you must mention and maybe give the address of the source of the data you obtain. You have to define the variables that you use. For example, you use the renewable energy, use the FDI, oil prices. You have to define them in detail about the definition of them. Name any statistical tests so your quantitative results can be judged. In the methodology and the data, this section should be details enough that readers, authors can replicate your research and assess whether the methods justify the conclusion. So for the replication, you should give a detailed information about your methodology. Here, try to apply a recent methodology for the economics. You should like, or you must use the panel co-integration, panel causality, non-linearity, asymmetric, structural test AR. Methodology. And use the bivariate model, apply the multivariate. This is really very important. It is better if you examine a group of countries like MENA, Middle East and North Africa, EU countries, OECD, Sub-Saharan Africa, G7, G11, emerging economics, and etc. Rather than a specific country, and that country is a small national level. It's not international level, and your paper can be rejected. It can be rejected. But if your paper is related with a big country like USA, China, and India, since these are very big countries, that also can be accepted as an international area. So, or a few countries, and you have to use many paper because of the using all 2022. But if you examine data for the 1980 to 2024 or 2015 or 2016, it means you are using all data. So it is an old and not up-to-date. To get an acceptance on your paper, you must data in your paper. The fourth section is related with the empirical results. This section should present your findings objectively and explaining them largely in the text. It is where you show how your results contribute to the body of the scientific knowledge. So be clear and logical. It is important to interpret your results. You can base the sequence of the text on the tables, figures, and graph that best present your findings. You should emphasize any significant findings clearly. Tables and figure must be numbered separately, and the figures and the table should be brief but complete with description, a legend that reveals how the data was produced. Do not just give the numerical and numbers, explain what they mean. So don't just give them the economic term is 1.5 and maybe 2, and also explain its meaning. You have to explain them here. One of the most important factor here we are looking for as an editor and as a reviewer, we are looking for the a discussion of your results. You describe the meaning of your results and especially in the contents of what was already known about the subject. You can present general, specific. Summarize your article here. Why? Because you summarize your article. It is the conclusion. You should link this section back to the introduction, referring to your question or your hypothesis, and cover how the result relate to your expectation and the cited resources. It means that with that you have to compare the results that you obtain with the results of the previously papers. I mean, do they contradict the existing theories? Are there any limitation? And you can also suggest further experiments and uses the extension. Above all, the discussion should explain how your research has moved to the body of scientific knowledge. For so important that you should discuss and compare with other results. With the current theories and the paper, it is okay. If you find it's a very different conclusion, then you have to explain it, why your results are not similar, or your results are different from the other published paper. You have to explain it and mention it here. This is really very important. The last section is about your conclusion and policy implication, and your conclusion must be supportable and not extend beyond your results. So avoid to undue speculation and bold judgment about the topic. You have to summarize your paper according to the variable you examine and according to the result you obtain. For example, if you didn't examine the FDI or exchange rate or pollution in your paper, you shouldn't give any suggestion about the FDI, about the exchange rate, about the pollution. Why? Because you didn't examine this variable. So you have to be very careful here. It's a good place to suggest practice results, like you have to mention policy implication. Why? Because you obtain some policy implication. This policy and must be in line results you obtain. So we call it as a policy implication. In this section, and all journals, they are also looking what are the paper and what are your suggestions for the future studies. So in conclusion, a section part, we are looking for the conclusion of your paper about the policy implication, about the limitation, and about the feature studies. For the limitation, all in the methodology and the data, you are using you will say that this is the updated or this is the latest data that is available. At that time, you can use maybe 2016 or maybe 2017 data. But if you don't mention anything about the data, and so as an author, we don't have to know that the data, the updated data is really up to 2016. So as a limitation, you can give maybe information in the methodology and the data. And so the references, new research builds on the previously published work, which should always be knowledge. Any information that is common knowledge or generated by your experiment must be recognized with a citation, and quoted text should be within the quotation marks and include references. So when you give some information, a specific, you must give a citation, a quotation. It must be reference. The format of the citation and the references, it varies from journal to refer to the guide for authors for the journal. You are submitting up-to-date references, and you must do the following before the submission about the language quality. This is one of the most important problem that the journal's editor face. It is badly written papers. It might be that the writer's first language is not English and they haven't gone to extra mile to get to work out what is going on in an article. And to be honest, we receive similar papers with the really poor language quality, and we have to reject it. So you can ask your college to check your work or edit it with the professional editing company. Each publisher has an editing also service. It can be Enago, Elsewhere, Taylor's, MDPI, and with any professional editing company, it is okay. And the last one is you must check your paper before the submission for plagiarism, and which is about the similarity rate, and similarity rate should be less than the 20%. In many journals, it should be less than the 20%, and it changed from publisher to publisher, and all the paper that has been submitted using the online submission system, they are checked with the plagiarism software, which we call this as an e-technicate or other many software. And if it is above the average, it is directly rejected by similarity rate. So you must check your paper for the plagiarism before the submission your paper to any journal. Yes, this is all about how to publish, why it is important to follow this. I will give you some and in the energy economy. In the 2020, due to the COVID-19 and advanced additions of the renewable energy sources of energy such as wind and solar PV increase at their fastest rate in the 2 decades, and electric vehicle sales set a new is coming into view, and action, technology innovation, and increasing urgency of the need to tackle the climate change, the global warming, and so there is no guarantee that the emergence of this new economy will be smooth, and it is not coming forward quickly enough to avoid several impacts from a changing climate. But it is already clear that the tomorrow energy economy promises to be quite different from one we have today. Electricity is taking on in the lives of consumers, and for an increasing number of households, increasing the population, it promises to become the energy source on which they rely for all their everyday needs of mobility, cooking, lighting, heating, and then the cooling. And reliability and affordability of electricity is set to become even more critical to all aspects of people's lives and well-being. And electricity share of the world's final consumption energy has risen steadily at about 25% future years, and the pace of the transition zero emission electricity account for around 50% of the final energy use by 2050. And given that electricity delivers useful energy services with better efficiency than other fuels, and contribution of electricity is even higher than these numbers will suggest. The rise of electricity requires a parallel increase in the share of the related energy-related investment. Since the 2016, globally be higher than the oil and gas. The faster that clean energy transition proceed, the wider this gap becomes, and as a result, for the energy-related financial zero emission investment in power generation is 6 times higher than oil and gas supply by the 20 and the 30. And one of the most important area is about the clean technology. The clean technology in the power sector and across a range of end users have become the first choice for consumers around the world. Support, but over time, because they are we are talking about the clean technology. Solar PV or wind already represent the cheapest available source of new electricity generation. So based on the total costs of ownership, in the case of the electric car, in many markets is already a compelling one. So clean energy technology is really become an important factor in the new energy economics area. So in the new energy economics, the huge market opportunity for clean technology area for the investment and international competition in global supply. The net zero emission requires an unparalleled increase in clean energy investment, and in the new zero emission, annual investment in clean energy rises to $4 trillion by the 2030, more than tripling from the current levels. Mobilizing such a large investment will be challenging, but the investment required secure clean energy transition offers an unprecedented level of market opportunities to equipment manufacturers, service providers, developers, engineering, procurement and construction company, along with the energy supply chain. The new energy economy involves varied and often complex interactions between the electricity, fuels, and storage market, creating fresh challenges for the regulation and the market design. A major question is how to manage the potential for the increased variability on both the demand and supply side of the equation. So one of the most important in the next coming year will be related with the energy, and especially for the energy, who is important. Energy, the energy security of this country will be the major important issue. For example, in the case of to Ukraine, it creates two energy related, like energy supply and energy security problem. So the countries, the energy dependent or energy important countries, they have a new way to secure their energy supply and energy security. So the renewable energy, it becomes more important. The countries must, in order to reduce their dependency to the important countries, and you see the price and cost of the fuel oils, like non-renewable energy, it is increasing day by day, and also due to the global warming, climate changes, the importance of the renewable energy, it becomes more important. So you must and you have to increase your dependency to the renewable energy. Then the financing is become really very important. So energy related, energy economic related, energy or environmental economics related topics becomes very important for all countries. And the last factor is about the digital technology, which play critical roles in integrating different aspects of the new energy system. Sectors that have hitherto operated largely independently become connected in new ways with rise of electric mobility and grids not to be cope with the much greater diversity and complexity. Many new players, including households, enter the arena as producers. So managing the platform data required to keep this digital technology system operating effectively becomes a central part of the new energy economy as the mitigation association privacy risk. And the thanks for listening. Attention. Really, thank you. This is all that I want to share with you today. Yes, if you have time and have question, I'm ready to answer your question.
Okay. Can you listen?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So again, first of all, Professor Osturk, thank you. Let me turn on my camera. Okay. Again, Professor Osturk, thank you very much for your advice, suggestions, recommendations, and experience to publish a better paper. It really was a beautiful presentation. I enjoyed it. And we have a couple of questions from the public. The first question is, what do you think about the fact that China is publishing much more papers than the United States in energy economics, energy policy, renewable energy, and
due to the connection problem, I didn't get your question, Professor.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Again, the question is, what do you think about the fact that China is publishing much more papers than the United States in energy economics, energy policy, renewable energy, and energy regulation in 2020, 2021, and 2022? It seems that China is publishing twice as much papers as the United States. And the other question is of course, very important.
Okay, let me, Professor, let me answer the first and then go one by one.
Okay.
Yeah, for the last maybe 3 years, China is the leading in publishing the papers related with the energy economics or environmental energy. There are 2 reasons or factors. Population of China times more or academics or faculty when you compare with the USA. So they publish more paper. The other one and most of the papers or research by the university or by the government, and most published in open access, in MDPI, in Hindawi. So the cost of this publication are financed by the by the Chinese university and by the Chinese government. So financing is one of the really important, and the other one is the number of academics are really too much, maybe 5, maybe 10 times. This is because of it, and most of the in the open accesses, and almost most of the open access journals, they have an article processing charges, and this money is paid by the government and by the, so it is easier to publish in the journals that publish open access. I hope it is clear.
Very clear. Thank you very much. The other question is of course, something very important for us. What can we do to have more sites in our papers? What is your secret, Professor Osturk?
One of the indicator is if your paper is published in a top journal, I mean, if it has an impact factor of 5, 6, 7, 10, and more, it means that this journal is one of the best journals in the area. And when you publish, and the other authors, in order to publish the paper, they must cite the papers that has been published in the qualified journal. So if you publish in the renewable energy, renewable and sustainable energy, energy economics, and or energy policy, it means that your paper is qualified. Then most of the authors, they are going to cite your paper. And in order to publish in this kind of the journals, your paper must be qualified, must have a contribution. You must use the up-to-date a new methodology, and you have you will find a very good paper which examine the variables for only USA. If you examine or investigate these variables with the new methodology for the BRICS countries or for the India or for other country, it means that your paper is original and has not been examined before, and 99% your paper will publish. And when your paper is the first about this topic from your country, so all other authors will follow your article when they start to write a new, and then you will get the citation. One of my paper, which is published in the energy policy, received more than 2 citations. Why? It was the first paper in the literature that literature review related with the energy and economics, energy consumption and economic growth. It was the first in the literature. So when it becomes first, it means that you will get the citation. So the quality of your paper and the quality of your of the journal you publish. So the quality is important here.
Thank you very much. We have the last question. The last question is there really a relationship between the stock markets and energy markets in all countries?
Can you repeat it, please?
Yes. Is there really a relationship between stock markets and energy markets in all the countries?
In which country?
In all the countries.
It is very it is very difficult to generalize it, because some countries are energy important countries, some countries are energy exporting countries. In some countries, renewable energy is high. In some countries, maybe there is no renewable energy. So it is something like impossible to generalize and say that there is a relationship between these. So it changes from region to region. It may change from the country to country. Because also in some countries, in the stock market, there are many energy-related firms, but in some countries, there is no any energy-related so you cannot generalize it. It is very it is impossible to generalize it.
Okay, thank you very much. We don't have any more questions. Really, I enjoyed your presentation. It was very good presentation. Thank you very much again.
Professor Ostruck, we very much appreciate your keynote speech. It was very interesting for all virtual and present researcher. We will send you your trophy by parcel, and please, can you wait some minutes to offer the final speech by the president of the IMEF Research Foundation, please.
Yeah, I am really very grateful and thankful for inviting me, for giving me the really very important and prestigious award. Also, I'm really honored and glad to receive it, and I hope it was beneficial, and I'm always ready to answer and have a cooperation with you and with other faculties, and then you can send me an email anytime you want, and I will be really appreciate to answer and cooperate for any question you have. Muchas gracias. Really appreciate it. Gracias. Thank you very much.
La Fundación de Investigación IMEF y la Facultad de Contaduría Pública y Administración de la Universidad Autónoma de Nuevo León, dentro del seno de su 12º Congreso Internacional de Investigación, se complacen en entregar la presente constancia al doctor Ilan Ostruck por su participación como conferencista magistral con el tema How to Publish in Impact Factor Journals and Recent Development in Energy, la cual fue impartida en el marco de este congreso el día 7 de septiembre. Firma el señor director de la facultad, doctor Luis Alberto Villarreal, un servidor como presidente de la fundación, y la doctora María Luisa Saavedra como parte de nuestra organizadora del 12º Congreso Internacional de Investigación Financiera del IMEF. Muchas felicidades, doctor Ilan.
Muchísimas gracias también al doctor Francisco Venegas Martínez por moderar este panel y ser siempre parte de la organización y entrega de este Finance Diamond Award. Gracias, doctor.
No, al contrario, muchas gracias a ustedes por este espacio y permitirme compartir este reconocimiento tan importante al profesor Ostruck. Congratulations, Professor Ostruck.
Le agradecemos al doctor Francisco Venegas y al doctor Ilan Ostruck. Los invitamos a continuar con las actividades del Congreso. A continuación, tendremos las sesiones simultáneas ubicadas en el edificio 10. Igual aquí afuera les estarán dando indicaciones por dónde irse. Gracias.
Alrighty. Thank you for all for your presence, and thanks, Dr. Ostruck, Dr. Venegas. Thank you for all your participation. I'm very pleased to meet you.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
Have a nice evening.
See you.
See you. God bless you. God bless you, Ostruck.
You too. Thank you very much.
Bye.
It was really, yeah, it's a pleasure for me.
Bye-bye.